Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. I nearly had a heart attack when I overheard my wife telling her friend, "Oh God, it was amazing." For a second, I froze on the staircase, gripping the banister so hard my knuckles turned white. The laughter that followed twisted in my chest like a knife. My wife, Claire, had always been the type to laugh quietly, politely. But this was raw, unfiltered, and full of something I hadn't heard in months: desire. I had come home early from my shift at the fire station. I wanted to surprise her, maybe take her out for dinner since we hadn't had time together in weeks. But instead, I found myself standing in the dark hallway, listening to my world come apart through the crack of the living room door. "Wasn't it risky?" her friend, Megan, asked, her voice low and conspiratorial. Claire chuckled, a sound I barely recognized. It was, but that made it even better. The adrenaline, the heat, the way she stopped abruptly, maybe realizing how much she was saying. My heart thundered. The way he what? My mind went wild with possibilities. I told myself maybe she was talking about a dream. Or a movie. Or maybe, just maybe, I had misheard. But the universe doesn't make mistakes like that. I tried to back away quietly, but my foot caught on the edge of the rug. The floor creaked. The room fell silent. "David!" Claire called, her tone instantly shifting to that sweet, controlled version of herself, the one she wore like perfume when she needed to hide something. I stepped into the living room, forcing a smile that trembled on my face. "Hey, came home early." Megan's eyes darted to Claire, then to me. The color drained from her face. She stood up, muttering something about needing to go, and practically ran out the door. Claire smoothed her hair, trying to act casual. "You should have texted me," she said, pouring herself a glass of wine. Her voice was calm, but her hand trembled slightly. "I wanted to surprise you," I replied. My words felt like lead in my mouth. The silence that followed was suffocating. I could hear the faint hum of the refrigerator, the ticking of the clock, and beneath it all, my heart, pounding in my chest like it wanted to break free. She looked at me with that soft, practiced smile that had once made me fall in love. "You look pale." "Long shift." I stared at her for a long time, wondering how many of our moments, our laughs, our kisses, our late-night talks, had already turned into lies. Later that night, while she showered, I went through her phone. I hated myself for it, but I couldn't breathe without knowing. The screen was locked, but her password hadn't changed. 0721, our anniversary. I opened her messages. And there it was. "Last night was insane. You made me feel alive again." The message was sent to someone named Evan. The name felt like poison. I scrolled further, each line stabbing deeper. "I can still smell your cologne on my skin. We have to be careful." David's starting to notice. The words blurred as my eyes filled with tears I refused to let fall. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the phone. When she came out of the shower, she was humming, wrapped in a towel. She looked beautiful, too beautiful for the woman who had just shattered me. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I wanted to see how deep the betrayal went. So I waited. For 3 days, I played the role of the clueless husband. I made breakfast. I kissed her cheek. I even listened as she told me she was going to Megan's place for a girls' night. But that night, I followed her. She didn't go to Megan's. She drove to a hotel on the outskirts of town. My stomach turned as I watched her step out of the car, hair done, lipstick perfect, and that same confident smile that had once been mine. A man got out of a black SUV. Tall, clean-cut. Evan. I recognized him instantly, her coworker from the marketing firm. The one she said was just a friend. They hugged, then kissed like they hadn't seen each other in years. Something inside me broke quietly. No shouting. No tears. Just a hollow emptiness spreading through my chest. I didn't confront them there either. I recorded everything. Every word, every touch, every lie. I needed proof, not just for me, but for whatever future she thought she was planning. When she returned home the next morning, pretending to be tired from a late night, I was sitting at the kitchen table, her phone in front of me. "Morning," she said casually, grabbing a mug. You're up early. Couldn't sleep, I replied, my voice steady though my insides burned. I heard you had fun last night. Her body stiffened. What are you talking about? I slid my phone toward her, showing the video. The color drained from her face as she watched herself in that hotel parking lot. For a long time, neither of us spoke. The silence was heavier than any argument we'd ever had. Finally, she whispered, I didn't mean for it to happen. I laughed. Quiet, bitter, broken. You didn't mean for it to happen? Claire, you planned it. You lied, over and over. You kissed me with his mouth still on yours. She started crying, reaching for me, but I stepped back. For the first time in years, I saw her clearly, not as my wife, not as the woman I loved, but as the stranger who destroyed me while smiling in my face. I just wanted to feel alive again, she said through sobs. I felt like you didn't see me anymore. Her words cut deeper than I expected. Because once, they might have been true. But betrayal doesn't come from a lack of attention. It comes from choice. I left that morning, taking nothing but my badge, my dignity, and the last pieces of my heart. The divorce was quiet. No screaming, no courtroom drama. Just signatures on cold paper. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear her laughter echoing in my head. That same laughter from the living room. The one that started it all. And every time, I remember the moment I realized love doesn't always die softly. Sometimes, it's murdered, one secret at a time.